And if I told you that the greatest threat to your health, your energy, and even your safety beyond 60 years is not what you eat or the amount of exercise you do? And if I told you that the biggest threat comes up quietly every night around 2 or 3 in the morning, right there in your own room? I'm talking about that familiar trip to the toilet, the one that breaks your deep, restorative sleep. Before we dive in, if you care about deeper sleep, steady energy, and healthy aging, pause for just 2 seconds. Hit subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you never miss powerful, natural health fixes like today's one. Now, let's get into it. For many of us, it happens once a night. For others, 2, 3 times, or even more. Doctors have a name for it. They call it Nocturia. But let's call things by their real name. A problem that disturbs sleep, and one we were told we simply had to live with. Well, I'm here today to tell you that is not the truth. You don't have to live with it. Because it's not just a little discomfort, it's a major problem with serious consequences. Consequences that most of us don't even consider. First of all, let's talk about your sleep itself. Sleeping is not like turning off a light. Your brain and your body go through cycles, what some people call the architecture of sleep. You have deep sleep, the body's repair shop. It's during this period that your muscles heal, your immune system strengthens, and your body regenerates physically. Then you have another type of sleep called paradoxical sleep. That's the mind's repair shop. It's where you form memories and process the events of the day. Every time you wake up to pee, you break this architecture. You break the cycle. You may only stay awake for 5 or 10 minutes, but your body has to restart the whole process again. You are deprived of this deep, essential repair work. You lose hours of quality restoration every night. Secondly, and this is a subject we must address seriously, there is the risk of falling. It's 2 o'clock in the morning. The house is plunged into complete darkness. You are not completely awake. You are sluggish and disoriented. You misjudge a step. You catch your foot on a carpet or bump into a piece of furniture you didn't see. A simple trip to the toilet can change your life. A fall can lead to a bone fracture, a fractured hip, a long hospitalization, and a loss of independence. This is not a negligible risk. It is a very real danger that we must eliminate. And finally, there's the price you pay the next day. You wake up tired, even before getting out of bed. You no longer have the energy you once had. That game of golf you were looking forward to feels like a chore. Playing with your grandchildren exhausts you in just a few minutes. Your concentration slips. Your mind feels clouded. It's not simply getting old. It's the direct consequence of interrupted, poor quality sleep. And let's not forget our partners. Every time we get up, the bed moves, the floor creaks. We don't just spoil our own sleep, we disturb theirs night after night. So, what is the solution? Many people think, well, I'll just drink less water. But that's a dangerous trap. As we age, our bodies need to stay hydrated. Dehydration can lead to confusion, dizziness, and kidney problems. So depriving yourself of water is not the solution. Others simply give up. They go to their doctor and he tells them, well, it's part of aging. I'm here to tell you that's not an answer. It's an excuse. To say it's part of aging is like saying a squeaking door is part of an old house. No, it just means you haven't found the right tool to fix it. If you're ready to take back your nights and wake up refreshed, type doze in the comments. Let's see how many of us are ready for real rest tonight. Today, I'm going to give you this tool. It's not a pill, it's not a costly gadget, it's a system, a list of 3-step controls that I call the Nocturnal Stop Protocol. These are a series of simple, logical steps to prepare your body for a long night of deep, uninterrupted sleep. The first step, and the most powerful, is an incredibly simple physical trick you can do about an hour before bed, right on your sofa while watching television. It uses the force of gravity to do almost all the work for you. It costs nothing, and you'll feel like you're hardly doing anything at all. But for this incredible trick to work its magic, you absolutely must combine it with the other 2 steps of the protocol. So be very careful, because we're about to put an end to those nightly trips to the toilet. If you're following so far, type 1 below and hit the like button. It really helps others find this and reclaim their nights too. Let's get to the heart of the matter. Think of it as a pilot's checklist before a long flight. You follow the steps in order and you don't skip any. The first step is called gravity rinsing. Before explaining the science behind it, let me tell you a little story about one of my patients, a man named Robert from Pennsylvania. Robert was nearly 70 years old and truly at the end of his rope. He woke up 3 or 4 times each night, every single night. He told me he had tried everything. He'd stopped drinking water after dinner, experimented with plant-based remedies, even tried prescription medications that made him feel awful the next day. He was drained and frustrated. He told me, "Doctor, I feel like my own body is turning against me at night." After hearing his story, the first thing I recommended was this simple technique. Not a pill, not a diet, just a small physical adjustment to his evening routine. He was doubtful, of course. It seemed too simple to actually work after everything else had failed. But he was desperate enough to try. A week later, he called me. For the first time in years, he had only woken up once. By the second week, he slept completely through the night. This method was the missing piece of the puzzle for him, and it can be for you too. Here's exactly what you have to do. Roughly 90 minutes, about an hour and a half before bedtime, lie down. You can do it on your bed or on the sofa. Take 2 or 3 earplugs or small cushions and place them under your feet and ankles. The goal is to lift your feet well above your heart's level. You'll know it's high enough when you feel a gentle stretching in your legs. And that's it. Stay in that position for 20 to 30 minutes. Read a book, watch the news, chat with your partner, or simply relax. Now, a quick but very important note on safety. For the vast majority of men, this is perfectly safe. However, you should pause and consult your doctor first if you have certain conditions. Be careful if you feel pain or swelling in one of your calves. It could be a sign of a blood clot. If you suffer from severe heart failure, or if you become very short of breath when lying down, seek medical advice. Likewise, if you often feel dizzy, have problems with balance, have been diagnosed with low blood pressure, or suffer from nerve damage, neuropathy in your feet, consult your doctor before trying this. The same applies if you have open wounds or skin lesions around your heels or ankles. For everyone else, let's talk about why this works. It's not magic, it's straightforward science. Throughout the day, while sitting, standing, and walking, Gravity pulls your body downward. Fluid, especially the water in your blood circulation, gradually seeps into the tissues of your lower legs. Your legs, particularly the ankles and calves, behave like two large sponges, absorbing that excess fluid over time. This is known as peripheral edema, a refined term meaning simple water retention in your legs. Now, if you lie down with your legs full of that fluid, like two sponges soaked in water, what happens? Gravity no longer holds that liquid in your legs. It begins its slow journey back into your bloodstream. Your circulation carries it to your kidneys, which filter and turn it into urine. And where does that urine go? Directly into your bladder. Your kidneys then work all night, filling your bladder again and again, sounding the alarm at 2 a.m., 4 a.m., and so on. By performing gravity rinsing about 90 minutes before sleep, you take full control of this process. You use gravity to your advantage, draining those sponges while you're still awake. You tell your body, "I'll handle this fluid now before I sleep." After 20 or 30 minutes of elevation, you'll likely feel the need to urinate before bed. And that's the point. You empty the tank on your schedule, not in the middle of the night. Now, let's cover a few common mistakes to avoid. First, don't start this just 5 minutes before going to bed. That's too late. The process takes time, so allow a full 90-minute window. Second, make sure your feet are truly above your heart. Resting them on a small stool won't be enough. You need a proper upward angle for gravity to do its work. Third, don't bend your knees too much. Keep your legs relatively straight to let the fluid flow freely downward. That's the first step. It's simple, effective, and can make a tremendous difference on its own. But to make it fully effective, we move on to the second step, the final purge of the system. This step takes place just before you go to bed at night. You've already done your gravity rinsing and drained the excess fluid. Now it's time to ensure that your main tank, your bladder, is completely empty. As we age, another factor appears, the prostate. For most men, the prostate naturally thickens over time. Imagine your urethra, the duct through which urine flows, like a water pipe. An enlarged prostate can press against that pipe, as if someone were gently stepping on it. This pressure makes it hard to fully evacuate all the urine. Sometimes a small amount remains trapped, maybe just an ounce, around 30 milliliters, but it's enough to wake you up hours later. The final purge of the system is a technique that ensures that last small bit is cleared. You may have heard of it as double voiding. Here's how to do it precisely. Go to the bathroom as usual and sit down on the toilet. It's very important to remain seated, not standing, because that helps your pelvic muscles relax. Don't rush. Take your time and empty your bladder completely. When you think you're finished, don't stand up immediately. Stay seated another 20 to 30 seconds. Relax. Take a few deep breaths. Then stand up for a moment, and finally sit back down and try again. You'll probably be surprised to see a little more urine come out. Why does this work? By standing and sitting again, you slightly shift the position of your bladder and prostate. Basically, you loosen the pipe for a moment, allowing the trapped urine to escape. Leaning forward a bit can help too. Imagine you're trying to get the last bit of ketchup from a bottle. You tilt it and shake gently. It's the exact same principle. Common mistakes are simple, but they matter. The most important one is rushing. We're often in a hurry to go to bed, so we skip the extra minute it truly needs. Don't rush. The second mistake is not getting up. Just shifting while still seated doesn't work as well. Actually standing and sitting again is what helps reposition the bladder properly. And finally, don't strain or push. It should be a calm, relaxed process. Forcing can make things worse. Now we've emptied our legs and completely drained the tank. We're ready for the third and final step, one just as crucial as the first two. Step number 3 is closing the intake valve. This step follows a simple but powerful principle. You can't truly drain a system if you keep pouring more liquid into it. It's about knowing what to drink and when to drink. First, let's discuss the overall strategy. The battle for a dry night actually starts in the morning. Here's an essential rule to remember. Try to consume roughly 75% or 3/4 of your daily liquid intake before mid-afternoon. That includes water, coffee, fruit juices, and even the liquid in soup. Hydrate yourself early. Think of your body as a full-time factory. You want most of your raw materials delivered during the day, when everything runs at full speed, not dumped at the door right before the night shift arrives. Now for the evening rule. Many people will tell you to stop all liquid 3 or 4 hours before bed, but for most of us, that's simply too strict and too difficult. So let's adopt a smarter, more flexible approach. Start with this goal. Don't drink large amounts during the 2 hours before bedtime. A small sip of water for medication is fine, but skip the full glass. Try this for a week. If you sleep soundly all night, congratulations! 2 hours is your magic number. You've discovered what works for you. If you still wake up, gradually increase that window. The next week, aim for 2.5 hours. If needed, push it to 3. Your goal is to find the shortest, most effective time that fits your body's rhythm. Don't hurry. Stay patient and listen to what your body signals. Of course, what you drink is just as important as when. Earlier in the day, avoid what I call the bladder agitators. Coffee and black tea, alcohol, especially beer, and all soda or fizzy drinks. Think of caffeine as a trigger that tells your kidneys to work harder. Think of alcohol as a double hit, speeding up the kidneys while relaxing control. And sodas? They act as irritants, making your bladder spasm, so it's critical to avoid them in the evening. Now you have the complete Nocturnal Stop Protocol in 3 steps. 1. Gravity rinsing. Legs up for 20 to 30 minutes, about 90 minutes before bed. 2. Final purge, the double voiding technique, right before sleeping. 3. Intake valve control. Drink 75% of your liquids early and begin a 2-hour liquid-free window, adjusting if necessary. Don't feel overwhelmed. Here's your first week plan. Days 1 and 2, Monday and Tuesday, focus only on step 3. Practice smart hydration. Days 3 and 4, Wednesday and Thursday, continue step 3 and add step 1, gravity rinsing. Days 5 to 7, Friday through Sunday, put the entire 3-step protocol into action. This isn't a magic pill. It's a system that requires consistency. The first night, you may see a slight improvement. The second, perhaps a bit more. Your body is learning a new rhythm. Give it time. Follow the protocol for 1 full week and you'll be amazed at the difference. Commit to yourself. Commit to reclaiming your sleep, your energy, and your safety. Try this, then come back to this video in a week and share your results in the comments below. Your story, your success might inspire another man who's silently struggling to finally take control. Let's build a community of men who've decided they deserve to sleep through the night. It's not just about skipping those late-night bathroom trips. It's about waking up refreshed, with the energy to live fully. It's about taking control. You now have the knowledge. You have the plan. It's time to take action. We love hearing from you. What part of today's video helped you most? Your comments inspire us to keep sharing simple, science-backed health tips that change lives. Subscribe and turn on the notification bell for more natural sleep and men's health insights. And share this video with someone who deserves peaceful nights and strong mornings. Here's to a calmer bladder, deeper sleep, and better days ahead.